Hey guys, Winter Wolf here. Kingsley and I cooked up something a little new for tonight's video. We hope you have fun. We're looking forward to sharing a new piece of content with you guys. But first, message from our sponsor. And here we go. Kingsley, tell them what's on the plate tonight, please.
Welcome to Draft Night at the Den. We're doing something new, and what we're going to do is each of us are going to take turns alternating picks as we pick our 5 top people in a category. Tonight's category is action movie characters. We're not going with actors, we are going with the characters from the movie franchise. So since we haven't done this, we don't know who has the number 1 pick. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the classic coin flip. We're going to flip a coin, see who has the number 1 pick, and then we're going to alternate picks going from there. Each of us have 2 minutes to make our pick and just tell us why. We're going to sit here and discuss it like a normal draft show. Then, when it's all said and done, this is where you come in. You're going to come in, you're going to leave us comments. You're going to tell us who's win, who got it right, who got it wrong, and we're going to listen, and we're going to comment back with you. We're going to have a good old draft discussion about our draft and our action stars. Now, these action characters are taken from the 70s to present day. So all of them, if you're an action movie, action TV show, you are fair game to be drafted tonight at Draft Night in the Den.
And just to be clear on the rules, we're action only on this one, guys. So in your comments, if you're throwing things at us about we missed Conan the Barbarian or we missed, Hudson or Hicks from Aliens, yeah, we know. We're giant fans of both of those IPs. This is action only. As strictly as we can get it. No sci-fi, no fantasy, no anime, no manga, no Russian 14th century literature. I don't know. Present day back into the 70s as far as we can go. So Kingsley, if you want to move us on to the coin toss.
All right, now it's time for the coin flip. This is heads with the number 1, and the 2 deers on the back is tails. Winter Wolf, since it's your show, you'll get to call it in the air. And the flip.
Heads.
And it is heads. So Winter Wolf will get the number 1 pick overall. So with that said, Winter Wolf, you are on the clock.
Okay. I'm not even going to need the 2 minutes for this one. I'm just going to babble for a couple seconds just to put you into my frame of thinking here. Every good team starts with a great captain, a great leader, somebody that can plan, but also somebody who can get the job done in case one of the other specialists goes down. I think I speak for Kingsley on this one. I bet a lot of our picks are going to come from military-themed, law enforcement-themed kind of action flicks. So these guys, while there's a bunch of good shooters in all these movies, they're not always full of guys that can use the old noodle to get out of a pinch. And that's the reason for my number 1 pick. I'm going with Major Dutch Schaefer, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from the original Predator movie. Dude, you don't mess with Dutch, and it's not just because he's 6'2", 265, and could bend your neck in half like a piece of lead piping. The guy's got brains on top of bronze. Remember, down the stretch in the original Predator movie, he came face to face with an extraterrestrial being who was 8 feet tall, had plasma weapons, a cloaking device, and an atomic bomb strapped to his arm. And Dutch still figured out a way to take him down, even while he was stripped of his own military firepower and his team. He was down to his own self there. So for that reason, I'm going brains and brawn. I'm putting Dutch in at my number 1 pick.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I think you're going to be hard. I challenge you to come up with a better number 1 pick than that, because I think you got to start strong, and I think Dutch is definitely the way to go. What do you got?
That's a good pick. I could see him coming off the board early. He was one of my. He was on my list.
Got to be a top 5, right? Got to be top 5.
He wasn't my first round.
Woo!
So my first round, I am going the same way you are. I won't need the 2 minutes. So here we go. My number 1. He was a leader of a franchise of over 5 movies. He's been shot. He's been walking on glass. He cannot get on a plane without someone telling him. So I'm going with Mr. Yippee-Yi-Yay.
No!
John McClane, number 1 overall, coming over to Kingsley's side.
Oh, no.
Portrayed by Mr. Bruce Willis himself.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. You did the wolf dirty. I love me some John McClane, dude. Great pick. You're hard-pressed to get a guy tougher than a New York City street cop caught without his shoes in an air duct at his wife's Christmas party out on the coast. Dude, great pick to open it up, man. Great pick. And yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, to that.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Dude, banging pick. Banging pick. And as a side note, I actually, the first 5 names I came up with, all started with the first name John. So maybe we got a second. We could do like a John squad, not ladies, not that kind of John squad. That might be a different video for a different day. But dude, great effing pick, man. Anything else on John McClane? I jumped into your time just because I'm pissed that you picked him.
Yeah, I mean, he works well in high pressure situations. He knows how to bring in other people into the team. He works well with taking care of non-trained personnel, namely his son in the last movie, and then Justin Long's character in Live Free or Die Hard. So, I mean, you got to have him up front on your team. With that said, Winter Wolf, you're on the clock, round 2.
I think this is going to go quicker than we thought it might go, because I think as I hear your picks, I just default to who I know I need next to pick up the slack and kind of fill in gaps here. Dude, my 2 pick, modern favorite. You got to have John Wick on your team, man. You absolutely have John Wick. Here's a guy who is so feared by the criminal underworld, as we know, that he was known as the guy that you send to kill the boogeyman. Like, when organized crime has horror stories and like urban folk tales about how horribly talented you are at mass murder, you gotta give respect where respect is due. John Wick is a complicated man. People think it was about the dog. It clearly was not about the dog, but it didn't stop him ever. And we're talking about a guy that doesn't have, because this is action, we suspend our disbelief, but this is a guy without superpowers. This is a guy without advanced technology. This is a guy that just gets down with his standard firearms, and the body count per movie is more like a Michael Myers flick than an action film. John Wick at number 2, lock it in.
Okay, John Wick, very strong. You asked if he's back. I think I'm back.
Oh, no. Dude, I love that clip, man. That's why I used it in the video a week ago. I love that. Love it, dude. Who you got it to?
All right, so my number 2 pick will be, I gotta go a little bit stealthy on this one.
Okay.
Gotta go with the man who knows how to handle a P7 SIG as well as the ladies. He's been portrayed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different actors. I'm going Mr. 007, the Brit spy, James Bond.
Wow. Crazy good number 2 pick. Dude, I didn't even have Bond on my list. I don't know how I overlooked that. I'm embarrassed. Stop the video, man. I'm out. I'm not qualified to do this. Great pick, dude. Great effing pick. I'm going to put you on the spot. Not the best. What's your favorite Bond film?
Favorite Bond film?
Out of any of them. Anyone.
Even though it is with one of my bottom picks for the character himself, I'm going with GoldenEye.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan at 007.
Yep. Dude, why? So you put, as an aside, because this is our per episode segue, why is Brosnan so low on your Bond picks? You have him below Moore and below Craig?
I do. And the reason why is because everyone plays Bond, but Sean Connery is Bond. Yeah. That's a good point. And so for you, it's Connery and everybody else. And I got you. Okay. See, because I think for me, I have Brosnan because when we were in high school, about the time he was high school and college, and your early Army days. I think Brosnan was the in guy after Dalton had the early '90s. I think. Yeah. So I think Brosnan's. I watched The World Is Not Enough, GoldenEye, and he had 3, didn't he? I don't remember. Let's not get too sidetracked. But I think he had 3. The World Is Not Enough, GoldenEye, and Tomorrow.
Maybe somebody tomorrow. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was him. That's right. Good call.
Yep.
I was just about to invite somebody in the comments to fill me in on my Bond knowledge, because it is definitely lacking. Dude, great pick, man. Gotta love that. Okay, for my 3rd pick, I think I'm going to surprise a lot of people here. I'm going to go, and you might notice a theme coming up with my next couple of picks. At my number 3 pick, I'm going for style. We need somebody with a little bit of a flair, and I'm not sure you're going to find any action hero with more flair down the stretch than Antonio Banderas' El Mariachi from Desperado. We're talking about a dude that's got guns in a guitar case, isn't afraid to use them, and basically explodes a cartel because it's always because the wife dies. And I got to think for the revenge story. I love it. It's just part of what makes the Winter Wolf tick is the revenge tale. Dude, El Mariachi just shows up. It's all subtle. He's just looking for work, and he's at the bar, and then all of a sudden you realize that there's like 9 cartel guys at the bar. The whole thing is stylized from beginning to end, where he's just like, bah-bah, bah-bah, like that. Everybody knows that scene at the bar. It's great down the stretch, man. Just seeing how he interacts with Salma Hayek's character, they're running away and jumping from slow motion explosions. She's got one shoe mismatched. He's looking badass and sexy. She's looking like a absolute goddess. There's nothing to hate about that performance, that role, that character's quintessential style. Give me El Mariachi every day of the week at number 3.
Oh, very good. El is a great character. His name is El.
Love it.
As in
Love
the.
it.
I know what El means. He has a 3-movie franchise. Can you name the first movie? Desperado was actually the second one.
It was El Mariachi was the first movie, right?
Yeah,
and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico was third.
No, yep. Once Upon a Time in Mexico was third, and then Desperado was number 2.
Yep.
And the El Mariachi didn't have Antonio Banderas in it either. It's an old 70s movie.
But that's because that was me. Oh, I didn't realize it was a. You're telling me it's a remake.
The story was given a second life. The first movie, they changed it where they actually made him the actual assassin. In the first movie, everyone thought he was the assassin. They ended up all killing themselves when he was actually just a mariachi player.
Was that Robert Rodriguez's El Mariachi, or was that older than that?
I believe so.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, I didn't know. I was thinking you were talking about, like, everybody knows Al Pacino from Scarface as being the quintessential Tony Montana in the Brian De Palma film Scarface, but it's actually it's like a reimagining of like an old 40s mob tale from way back in the day with Italians instead of Cubans. A lot of people think Scarface is an original film, as it is. That's my number 3 pick, Kingsley El Mariachi. Surprise me with something. Who do you got at 3?
All right, so we led off with John McClane. We came in with the shaken not stirred James Bond, and now with the 3rd pick, we got to add some muscle, so a little extra muscle coming in, but tactical muscle. He's smart. He's fast. He's nimble. He can survive being drowned. His name is Mr. Jason Bourne. Matt Damon's Jason Bourne.
Oh no! He went Bourne. He went full ultimatum on the wolf. Dude, great pick, man. I missed him too. I don't know. There's like a gap in my head for these guys whose names start with J that aren't John, apparently. I don't know what's going on with that. Dude, nicely done. What did you think of the Renner Bourne movie? The 4th one.
It was all right. Was it Bourne Legacy?
Identity.
That was the name of it.
Agenda, Ultimatum, Legacy. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep. I love Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
but I don't think that fit well in the Bourne story.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you look at the book of Bourne Legacy, it's about Jason coming out of retirement where he's a school teacher.
That was not the plot at all to the Legacy movie, right? He was just still very much the spy on the run, right? Yeah. Now, I know we know each other very well. Our audience might not know that we're big readers ourselves on top of being writers. Have you read the original Bourne trilogy by Ludlow? Have you read the first 3 books?
I have not actually read the actual books. I have only watched the movies.
Remind me when your birthday runs up later this year, you can expect a gift from your buddy Winter Wolf. I will take care of that. Definitely, because we can talk audiobooks off after the video if that's what you need for your job. No problem. I got you covered, dude. I get you at least the first one because I think you'll really... If you like the movie for its
the books are always
subtle.
Better.
No, that's what I'm saying, dude. This gets into the spy craft and like the unreliable narrator, the double cross, the triple cross, the shocking, the twist, the this, the that, the other thing. That the movies they did a fine job. I mean, I can't take anything away, at least from the first one. I have less fond things to say about 2 and 3, but the Bourne Identity was absolutely a revolutionary action movie for the time because I think it re-injected a note of tone of seriousness into an action flick that when you're coming out of the 80s and 90s, as some of these other characters on our list probably have, very much with the cheese, But the Bourne Identity you had to take for all seriousness here. How about I give you a number 4 pick that you probably weren't going to guess, 5 Million Miles Away.
All right, go ahead.
Check this out. At number 4, because we can all hope that the wings of liberty never lose a feather and that it's all in the reflexes, I'm picking Mr. Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China.
Really?
Jack Burton, dude, I'm picking Jack Burton because, right, when the chips are down, any good action team needs a guy who just gets lucky. Let's look at Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China, one of my all-time favorites. Here's a guy who wasn't in on the joke that he wasn't the hero in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wang was the hero of the movie. It was his girlfriend that got kidnapped. It was his knowledge of the ancient Chinese traditions that helped them prevail. It was his connections to Egg Chen that brought the supernatural to bear for the good guys at the end of the movie. Jack Burton was just was like a guy that wanted his money to get his truck back and get the fuck out of Dodge. But he was there for his boy, and when the chips were down, the belief in the self made him, he caught the bottle early in the movie. He was able to catch Lo Pan's knife and give him the dagger throw right between the eyes, because it's
always
all
had
in
good
the
reflexes. Always had good reflexes.
Dude, always had good, I'm saying.
Kurt Russell jumping into the top 5.
You didn't see that coming, did you? You didn't.
Did not see that coming. That was out of left field.
Dude, I knew there wasn't going to be any competition for that one, but I would absolutely. I told you I got a list of 20. Hand to God, I would take Jack Burton over all the honorable mentions that we'll put in the crawl at the end of the video. All right, that was 4 from me. King Z, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Give me number 4.
All right, my 4th pick. I gotta give John McClane another street cop. I gotta put him on the streets. I gotta get a bad mother. Oh, I'm just talking about John Shaft. That's right. You know who I'm talking about. We just talked about Shaft here. Now, Mr. John Shaft's been portrayed by a few different actors. He's been portrayed by Richard Roundtree, the original Shaft. He's been portrayed by Samuel L. Jackson in the movie, and he's also been portrayed by Jesse T. Usher in a different movie. I think those were the 70 movies that Usher was in.
I think he wasn't he the one where he was Samuel L. Jackson. I think they did the nephew thing twice, because in Jackson's movie, Richard Roundtree was still the original Shaft, and Jackson was his nephew or something. And then Jackson played the uncle to a younger Shaft. It was something like the last 5 years, I think. There was another. I don't think it had the same kind of fanfare as the Jackson flick, but I think he was also the uncle to this generation Shaft. Also, I believe that was the actor's name. But dude, great pick with Shaft, dude. Great pick, man.
Oh yeah, I got to add some style with his, his entourage. You got Huggy Bear coming into this. We got, he's a smart street cop who loves to break the rules, and he's gonna fit right in with my team of John McClane. You got James Bond, who just disappears whenever he wants to, and then you have Jason Bourne, who doesn't even know what the rules are. So,
can we talk a second that he might be the guy on both of our lists that has the best theme song out of all of them? Isaac Hayes. I'm just talking about Shaft. Can you dig it? Like, dude, you're damn right. Dude, great pick at number 4, King Z. I expected nothing less. You delivered nothing less. Nicely done.
All right, fans. So we are through 1 through 4 for each of us. We're going to recap each of ours. Winter Wolf, you go first with your first 4, just to recap it for everybody.
Yep. Dude, I think if I'm recalling correctly, I had Major Duff Schaefer from Predator at my 1 spot. I believe I had John Wick of recent massive commercial fame with John Wick 4 at my number 2 spot. I believe at the 3 spot there, I had El Mariachi of Desperado fame. And rounding up my top 4 was Jack Burton, Big Trouble in Little China, all in the reflexes. Who did you have again?
All right, so I went off with number 1 with John McClane from the Die Hard series.
A steal at the number 1.
Then we went with Mr. James Bond himself for the number 2 pick. You got to have Smooth and Strong. And then we went with Jason Bourne. And then to round out my top 4 was Mr. John Shaft.
Dude, great picks, man. Dude, I'm still jealous of the James Bond pick. I don't know if y'all can tell. But, yeah.
So you heard how we're talking about each other's picks. Why don't you go ahead and drop us a comment on how you think we're doing so far? Actually, at the end of the draft, you need to come in and tell us who won. Who won out of the 2 of us? Because the loser will get number 1 pick in the next round of Draft Night at the Den.
True that, man. True. Way to set the stakes and raise the tension. I gotta go pretty balls all the way, balls deep with this last pick here. I gotta finish up strong. I gotta tell you, I have a couple of absolute murderers on this list here.
So with the number 5 pick, you are on the clock. Go.
Here it is. I don't even need the 2 minutes for this one other than the gab. At number 5, you didn't see this coming because there's nobody quite like him on either of our lists just now. I'm going with the Bride. That's right. I'm going with the Bride from Kill Bill. Ooh. I'm bringing in a femme fatale, hand-to-hand combat master, taught by the great Pai Mei, who isn't afraid to throw around some Hanzo Hattori steel when she needs to. Dude, you never see her coming. She looks great in yellow leather on a bike, and you know she has no quit. The quit button has been disengaged, snapped off, and thrown in the garbage when
That
it comes
probably
to the
happened when
bride.
she was in a coma.
And I don't know if y'all noticed a common... Dude, even when she's in a coma, she was probably calculating her way out of that hospital. I'm taking the bride because, once again, revenge is a powerful ass motivator, and good God, everybody in that movie, when they realized she was alive, knew it was their ass. They all do it. I mean, did not Bill him? No, it wasn't Bill. It was his brother. What was the brother's name? Oh, jeez, that's gonna kill me now.
I've seen it.
I know. Oh my God, Bud. It was Bud. It was Bud. Bud, when he was talking to Elle McPherson's character, basically told him, "Listen, this woman deserves her revenge for what we did to her. We deserve to die for this." He knew. He had his peace made. It didn't stop him from shooting her in the chest with the rock salt in Kill Bill Volume 2. But dude, you got to take the bride. She slays the crazy 88 at the Blue Leaf Tea House or whatever it was called at the end of Part 1. And then she goes on to rough up Lucy Liu, who probably should have made my honorable mention list also. Sadly did not. But dude, I got to take the bride at 5, dude.
Hey.
Have to take it. Got to shout out to the ladies.
So Winter Wolf, you are off the clock. Your team is set.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
With that said, clock has started on me, and I gotta round out my 5. So here we go, number 5.
Yep.
He hasn't been mentioned because no one knows he even exists. But when I bring him in, I gotta make him feel like this whole team is his family because he doesn't let anything happen to his family.
Oh, boy.
I need a man with some particular skill. His name is Brian Miller, portrayed by Liam Neeson in the Taken series. Former CIA operative and a bodyguard to boot. But don't let anyone mess with his family, because once his family gets involved, Brian takes it up to a whole nother level.
Dude, nailed it. Another banger. Dude, excellent pick down the stretch there. Never would have seen that coming because, total disclosure, never seen a Taken movie. None of them.
Never seen a Taken movie?
Never, not even Part 1. I just missed
You would
out,
think
and I just sitting around. I have never threw it on. You know, I know I'd like them. I just never seen them.
The first 2 were a lot better than the third one. The third one was really bad. And I could point out a lot of bad editing in the third one, but you know, a lot of franchises don't hold up for 3 movies anyways.
No, God,
but
that's pretty obvious with some of the
you gotta check out the Taken movie, at least the first one.
Yeah, dude, that's on my it's on my playlist now for sure.
But that's my 5.
Dude, all right then.
But now I think we're going to go into a little bit honorable mentions. I think each of us have 3 honorable mentions we're going to go with.
These are the alternatives, and then the honorable mentions. I was going to be anything left over after that. Hopefully, we can just share with the viewers who didn't make either cut. So let's just call these the alternates to the team in case, for scheduling purposes, John McClane or Dutch Schaefer are unavailable to save the world. You know what I mean? And how about we do this? We did our top 5 draft. Gentlemen and gentlemen, why don't you pick the first alternate?
All right, first alternate. For me, I'm going to go with another obscure pick that no one's really looking at. I'm going to go with... He's portrayed many action stars over his time, the actor has. But this one, I think, was his fun. He got together with his boys. He flew a plane, and his name is Mr. Lee Christmas from the Expendable series.
Nicely done. Can't hate it.
Portrayed by...
Jason Statham.
Yep.
Jason's the transporter.
Jason Statham.
Dude, great pick. You got to think for these international picks. I think maybe we have some trends here. You like the international heroes, and I must like the revenge tale. So there's a common thread woven through there, most definitely.
And plus, he uses knives. He doesn't need a gun, so he never has to reload.
Dude, you're 100% correct on that. When you said fly a plane, I thought you were going to my first alternate here. You may know him, you may not know him, and it's because in every movie he's in, he tends to rip his face off 3 or 4 times. Ethan Hunt. Dead giveaway. When you need a spy that has the most up-to-date gear you can get, master of espionage, Ethan Hunt, number 1 of my alternates, without a doubt. You know, I couldn't quite get him into the top 5. I haven't seen anything after. I think was it Rogue Nation or Ghost Nation? Rogue Nation, I think, was like part 4. And I haven't seen the last 2 or 3, and I know there's another one coming up. I'm a little bit behind. But I have very fond...
There's one with 2 parts coming out.
Right.
This summer and next summer.
Yep.
And that's the end of it. That's the end of Mission Impossible.
Well, I mean, until they decide to give Cavill his very much unjustified spin-off into something else. which may be a thing, may not be a thing, but we'll see. Give me your second alternate while I desperately try to cull down my list, because now I'm getting a little desperate here.
I don't know how this guy fell this far down the list.
Probably because we forgot
to
because
get
we're
him
old.
here. What is 7?
Yeah.
7th over, and wait, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th overall.
Yep.
John Rambo is just being named.
Dude, was the first guy I wrote down.
Rambo?
Dude, was the first name I wrote down, but then I just couldn't get him in there. I don't know.
So I'm going to take John Rambo,
Great
Mr.
pick.
Vietnam PTSD guy who just wanted something to eat.
Dude. And that was a great line from a great and underappreciated movie, without a doubt. Love me some Rambo. Let's talk Rambo for a quick second. Better end to the franchise, John Rambo or Final Blood, or whatever they called number 5?
I actually liked when they went to older Rambo. I didn't like the very first one, but the last two I thought were pretty solid Rambo movies.
But in terms of which was a better did you prefer 4 or 5 more, is my question.
I would go with 4,
Agreed.
5, even though the tunnel system was pretty awesome that he built, and seeing that, and just trying to live out your PTSD and find what helped you cope is a really good idea. But I 4 was probably a lot better. I
agree. There's a certain poetic closure, and I felt it mirrored the Rocky Balboa mirror perfectly. Where at the end of Rocky, he doesn't even wait around in the ring for the decision. Like, he did what he wanted to do. So he called his family to him, and they kind of left and went out together. He waves goodbye to the crowd, and then he's saying goodbye to Adrian. Her, he's not saying goodbye to her. He's saying, Adrian, we did it, and he kind of waves goodbye to the crowd for a final time. To us, not to the arena. You know what I mean? John Rambo, I thought, ended the same way. Like, he did his last thing in Burma or wherever he went, and then the last shot of him is him walking home, and you see the mailbox come up over the rise, and it says Rambo on it. Like, he finally went home. Love that. Rambo 5 was, or Final Blood or whatever, Last Blood or whatever it was called, a fine standalone action flick, but it didn't have any of the... There was heart, I think, to John Rambo the same way Rocky Balboa had it, and I didn't get that from Rambo 5 at all. Not at all. Alternate number 3 for me. This is tough, and I may have to do that patented Winterwolf thing where I cheat the rules a bit and go with 2. And the rules are made up and the score means nothing. So I'll invite you to do the same. For my third, and by third I mean third and fourth alternate picks, because I just love these characters so much. Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon, because every team needs a wild card. You need that, even if he's on the bench. When push comes to shove, not only will Riggs go balls absolutely to the wall for his team, right? Not only will he handcuff himself to you and jump off a building to prevent you from committing suicide. Martin Riggs is a crack shot. He's I believe was he a Marine Force recon sniper? That was his background when he was talking about the Vietnam deployments and how he had a confirmed kill at like a mile, something like that. Like, he doesn't miss. He's basically impervious to pain. He can reattach his shoulder. We all know that. You gotta love Riggs. You gotta have him in there somewhere. And then, because I definitely couldn't get off of this list here without cheating a little bit and throwing in something bordering on the supernatural. Dude, we mention this dude almost every week we do the show. Dude, I gotta get you Bruce Leroy on the list, man. You need Bruce Leroy on the list. He's got the glow, right? We're talking about a dude in his athletic prime, not afraid to stand up to bullies, always down to do the right thing and save the damsel in distress. Who doesn't like Bruce Leroy? Dude, can you teach me some moves? Like, Bruce Leroy, dude, alternate number 3B. Had to have it. You needed him on the list. I have absolutely no regrets about putting him there. I don't care if I broke all the rules, dude. Have as many alternates as you want now.
All right, my last alternate. We all know him. We all love him. He races jet planes with his motorcycle. He has a need. He has a need for speed.
Kick the tires and
Mr.
light the
Pete
fires.
Maverick Mitchell.
There it is, dude.
The son of Duke Mitchell.
Wearing the shirt. Wearing the shirt. Dude, I'm glad you put him on the list, because I struggled. I wanted Maverick on the list as an alternate. I did. But I wasn't sure if Top Gun was action enough, given that it was, for all its, its made-up-ness. It's more a drama than it is an action flick kind of thing. So I'm glad you took.
He wasn't in my. That's why. That's why I didn't take him with my 5. That's why
he's a pilot, but there's no inherent combat skills, hand to hand. All like the stuff that generally we think of when we think action movies. But I'm glad you represented for Top Gun, especially in the wake of its $2 billion crushing of the box office or wherever it ended up with a couple of years ago. Dude, love that Maverick's getting his just due there. Dude, great pick. Dude, great list all around, guy. I'm interested to see where people are at, definitely in the comments. I don't know how many King Z has left. I have a list here we're going to throw up in the honorable mentions crawl at the ending point of the video. But guys, what did you think? Is the Winter Wolves team just a little bit more stacked, a little bit more ready to throw down? Or is King Z defaulted to some absolutely S-tier specialists that are just going to mop the floor with the more guns and bullets kind of guys? Who knows? King Z, final thoughts?
I say I do have 2 honorable mentions that I would like to bring out.
Oh, dude, sure.
Once again, we have to bring up John Matrix, Commando himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Nice.
And then the other
John,
one is
I might add
Marion,
John. Oh,
another
dude.
John.
Dude, I had it. He was going to make the alternates. Gotta do it. Do it.
Marion Cobra
Cabretti. Nailed it. Dude, I had him there, but I was like, how many cops can I put on this list? You put like 4 of them. You only have like the 2. No, how many do you have? You have 3. Yeah, because you have McLean. No, you have McLean, Shaft, and then you have Cabretti. That's at least 3.
Cabretti was my
alternate. Right. But I'm saying, yeah, I know. Dude, great picks there. Man. I love that. You know what? I have like, dude, you got time? I'll just read, instead of doing a crawl, you want me to just read them off? We just chat about the characters right quick? You got a few minutes?
Sure.
Dude, let's do it. So, rounding out the John squad for me, another famous John. Not a New York John, but a San Angela's John. San Angela's, you say? That's because I'm talking about John Spartan, the Demolition Man. Just saying. Especially given current day idiocy with political correctness and double think and double speak and shit you can't say. Dude, bring me the 3 seashells. John Spartan needs to be at least be brought up in this conversation here. Love him in the movie. Don't care how cheesy it is. Doesn't matter to me at all. Don't care. I had here bordering on sci-fi, but dude, it's traditionally considered one of the biggest action flicks of all time. I had to throw it in. Dude, Terminator 2, the T-800. He's not human, but it was his world and everybody was just living in it in that movie.
So, when we were talking about the rules,
Yep.
we were talking about like modern, and we wanted to go from the sci-fi.
Yep.
The reason why my second round pick was not Sarah Connor because I was staying away from the sci-fi.
Okay.
Sarah Connor was going to be my second round pick.
Now, is that the one you were mentioning before we started recording? Who we might have the same? No, I didn't have her. I should have, and I had her in parentheses next to the T-800. I had the other obvious one. I had Ellen Ripley.
Yeah, I have Ellen Ripley down here, right outside my alternate picks.
Okay, so let me get Ripley off of the list there. The T-800. Also from Terminator fame, I had Kyle Reese. I was trying to figure out a way to get him in there. He's scrappy, he's scrawny, he knows how to make improvised explosive devices. When he's on mission, he's 100% focused. I figured Kyle Reese at least deserves a mention as one of these kind of bangers here. Got a couple more here. This one's a personal favorite of mine just in terms of the movies. I'm not sure that he counts as a memorable, like, all-around action star, and that's why he didn't make it in. Leon Gautier, Van Damme's character from Lionheart. You know, talk about a guy that won't stay down when money's on the line for his family. You gotta love Lionheart. And I gotta be honest with you, if your heart didn't come up in your throat a little bit, if you've seen this movie, when the Foreign Legion guys come to take him back to the Foreign Legion and away from his family, and the little girl's running in the street and she's crying out for him and they take him away, and then they drive 2 blocks and they let him go and he gets to go back to the little girl who was Ashley Johnson that we were just talking about with the Last of Us review. That was her first film screen role. Dude, the score was criminally underrated in that movie. The music swells. He hugs the kid. Dude, you're looking for a box of tissue, and if you don't, I don't care how fucking tough you are, go fuck yourself. You're dead inside. All right, that's Leon Gautier, Lionheart. I'm in the interest of time, I'm going to give you 2 more. All right? 3, I lied, because I'm doing that lying thing again. Dude, I'm going to give you another underappreciated one from the 90s that you probably saw in high school at some point. So I think that was right around our time. Maybe it was early college. Dude, Con Air, Cameron Poe. Another guy. Hand-to-hand combat. Dude, a pretty decent shot. When his buddy was down and needed the damn insulin, when Baby O was sick and probably going to die a hypoglycemic shock, he put it all on the line to go get the damn insulin that somehow he found in an airplane hangar on an airfield in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how he pulled that off. I don't know if that's not that's plot. That's a plot contrivance, not plot armor. But dude, Cameron Poe for sure. And then I think rounding it up nicely because I wanted another more modern pick. Dude, again, I got a thing for families and revenge. Dude, who do we know besides your pick for Taken? Who do we know is obsessed with taking care of family in modern movies? Dude, Dom Toretto. You want a guy with an inside track to vehicles that's got cash squirreled away, that's not afraid to jump like an 83 Challenger or whatever the fuck it was off a bridge in Mexico and jump onto an oil tanker and then flip it into a hovercraft in outer space while riding a dinosaur. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sure that's coming in the movie in a couple of weeks. Dude, Dom Toretto, I gotta give him honorable mention, man. Needs to be on there. I like it. But in all seriousness, I love the character from at least the first movie. It gets comical down the road, as you were talking about sequels. They had some diminishing returns, but I think they're still tracking a higher gross every film that they've put out over like the last, I think since part 4. I think they course corrected after Tokyo Drift in there. But the characters remain steadfast the same, and all they've done is expanded the circle of family. I mean, the dude's got like eighth cousins in the movies now. He's got kids and grandkids in the next one, from what I'm hearing. But yeah, dude, I think that rounds out my list there. I got a couple that, it's too bad they didn't make the cut. I'll just mention them because I'm cheating. I had mentioned guys like Rick O'Connell from The Mummy, great character. Brendan Fraser, action star without a doubt in that film. Dalton from Roadhouse. If I picked up a gun, I'd probably smoke him myself. So I mean, he's pretty badass. But at 20 feet, I like my odds. You know what I'm saying? And then my last one that I had there was because if I wanted to throw it way back, if Dutch Schaefer wasn't available to be the brains of my outfit, Indiana Jones. Why not? You could class up the joint a little bit on the Winter Wolves team. Less hand-to-hand gunning unless it's an MP40 that he stole from a bunch of Nazis. But he does have the revolver, and he isn't afraid to shoot a guy that has a sword. So I figured Indiana Jones, not bad, but I couldn't get him on the list with some of these other powerhouses.
Now, you've noticed we've had a lot of, in the honorable mentions, we've had some Sylvester Stallone, we've had some Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
We've had Statham, we have now Vin Diesel.
Yep.
There's one person who's missing.
All right, now hold on. Let me. Now I mentioned Van Damme because he's in Lionheart. Okay, because I thought you were going to quote Bloodsport or Cyborg or something. Did Statham? Did Jackie Chan, Jet Li, one of these two?
That's not the one I was thinking of, but those two were also missing from our list from the draft.
I couldn't come up with any particular movie that blew me away from either of them. So, Jet Li in particular, like I wanted to put him in for the one, but that's too sci-fi with the multiverse stuff, so I couldn't get him.
Yeah,
couldn't get him in there.
Both would probably come into like best comedic and
Jackie Chan for sure.
List.
Yeah,
they'll definitely see spots in our other list, but for straight action,
Chuck,
because Jackie Chan's action was more.
It was comedic time. I mean, of the original stuff out of China or wherever. Much of it. You're not going Chuck, right?
I'm talking about the guy whose tears cure cancer. Too bad he never cries.
Yep.
I'm talking about that he had a staring contest in the mirror, and they still stand there to this day.
Mm-hmm. Dude.
We're talking about Chuck Norris.
Now,
not one Chuck Norris mentioned in our list.
Now, admittedly, with Chuck, the only thing I could get him in there for, honestly, would be Braddock missing in action. Part 3 in particular.
Not Delta Force?
Until you said it, I forgot that I'd seen that because that wasn't one that I watched a bunch of times as a kid. Delta Force was dope, without a doubt. I mean, he's got some other ones in there too, but a lot of those are like, they almost strike, not that I'm not knocking quality at all. There's respect where respect is due. But they're straight to video to me in the same way. I had a Seagal one on the list, but I'm like, I mean, how many cliched tough cop things can I do? And I feel like Chuck's things are kind of like that. They feel like a lot of the movies are like straight to video. They weren't box office smashes in a lot of ways. So I couldn't put them on there for that. I mean, the ones I saw were fine, and they blew me away when I was 12. But I don't really have any emotional connection to any of the Chuck stuff. So I didn't manage to get him on there.
You did know they tried to put him on Mount Rushmore, but the granite was too soft for his beard.
Well, they probably could have just used his beard to chisel it, right? Wouldn't that have worked? They probably could have just done that.
He shaved it to reveal just another beard.
What's the other one they say beneath Chuck's beard is a fist? Some shit like that. That's another one. There's a third fist. That's a good one.
Chuck Norris built the hospital he was born in.
Obviously. Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee. He probably had a couple of characters.
Oh, yeah.
The Crow. Oh, no, maybe not Brandon Lee, because he had the Crow and he had Rapid Fire.
And that was it.
Yeah, and
Before
that was
his,
a rapid
tragic
fire.
passing.
Not on any of my top lists. Bruce obviously Enter the Dragon and a couple of other obvious great ones. It's a Chuck connection there too. There you go. I'm trying to think. Anybody else that we missed? Denzel with any good action flicks? Like early, like Men on Fire is not really. I mean, I guess it is.
Training Day.
Not
That's
action.
More of a drama.
Yeah.
But the character was great.
Equalizer. I mean,
King
modern
Kong.
day Equalizer is pretty dope.
Equalizer. That would definitely
good.
qualify.
What's the other? Not the one where Book of Eli. But again, that's like a one-off.
Too,
like, did it? Is it in the pantheon though? No, it's fun. I'll watch it if it's on cable. But I mean, I'm not making a video breaking down like the 5 best kills in the movie or anything like that. It's like I could honestly talk to you about Bloodsport and Lionheart for like an hour. We could do a separate video on Van Damme, Bloodsport, and Lionheart. You know,
Bloodsport was also based off of true events. So.
Allegedly true events that have now since been disproven in most cases. The Duke's estate is not exactly up on telling the truth. Apparently, watch some YouTube shit on that. That'll blow you away. Most of that stuff about the training that not the stuff that's in the movie, his backstory about being like a CIA operative and all that shit has long since been proven fabricated. But I do believe he does. The world records that he holds still hold. I think those are on the books. Those legit.
Punch,
fastest knockout.
Fastest knockout.
Yeah, I think that those are legit as the last time I checked a few years ago. Yeah, guys, I think we're gonna get out of here before we just get a little long-winded.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. Let me do the like speech this week. I usually let you do. Let me do this one. No, you know what? I've talked enough. You do it. Fuck it. Keep it up.
So that is draft night at the Den. We're going to wrap it up here. Tell us how we did. Tell us what we got right. Tell us what we got wrong. Leave it in the comments. And like I said, you guys are going to vote on the winner. You're going to leave it down in the comments. Tell us who you thought won and why. And go ahead and drop your list. Give us your 5 that you would have drafted. You don't have to go with the same draft order or see who was off the board at the same time. Just go ahead and give us your top 5 of who you would have picked in this draft. All right. But remember, you've been with us this long. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can catch the next draft night in the Den as we go into looking at doing villains, doing horror, doing wizards, doing sci-fi heroes. We got a whole bunch of them lined up. If there's one that you want to see, leave it down in the comments. We might even drop polls, and whatever you guys vote on in the polls in our community tab, we will do next. But with that said, I'm going to sign off. You got Winter Wolf over there. Let him close us out.
Dude, King Z, appreciate your time as always, dude. Great list, very inspired choices. Didn't see most of them coming. I feel like a few of mine are cliched, and that's why I had to cheat the results at the end like I typically do. But hey, F it. It's what I do here. I came up with the channel idea. I'm going to do what I want from time to time. Guys, we appreciate you being here. Like King Z said, we appreciate the support. We're interested in any kind of discussions you want to throw down about our selections, about your lists. Maybe even just bring up a couple of your favorites that we missed altogether that didn't even make the honorable mention list. Make a case in the comments. We'd appreciate the discussion. But until next time, we'll see you this week. I believe is the season and possible series finale for The Mandalorian. I believe it's episode, what are they on, 9, King Z? I think it's 9 that they're up to. 8, 9, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the last episode, and if the news coming out of Lucasfilms is any indicator, it's probably not looking good going forward for a little while with some of the selections they've got coming up. But that's a topic for another day. That guy's King Z. I'm Winter Wolf, guys. We appreciate it and hope you enjoyed Draft Night at the Den. We'll see you in the next one.